The Northeast Du Bois School Corporation has gotten a major technology grant. We'll tell you how much it was worth. Plus, Du Bois County Emergency Management is seeking amateur radio operators for weather spotting. And District 48 State Senator Mark Mesmer brings us another legislative update tonight on Inform. All of that and much more is up next here on the 18 WJTS News. Hello, I'm Bradford Raths. We begin with good news for the Northeast Du Bois School Corporation. In a news release, the Indiana Department of Education says Northeast Du Bois will be getting $86,000 towards one-to-one technology. That grant funding was announced yesterday. In the release, State Superintendent of Public Instruction Glenda Raths says the schools selected for the grants laid out thoughtful, student-centered plans to bring modern learning into their districts. Raths says those who were honored are models for the rest of Indiana on how to utilize technology in education. Now, Northeast Du Bois was among 19 school districts in all who received funding. The 19 winners were chosen from a group of 88 schools that applied. Paoli Schools were the other area district that got money. They received $100,000, which is the maximum amount that could be awarded to any district. Nearly $2 million worth of funding was announced yesterday. Du Bois County Emergency Management is looking for amateur radio operators for weather spotting as shortages are looming. The agency says the operators are vital to the county's weather spotting efforts in the event of severe weather. Agency Director Tammy Humbert says the county is currently rated as one of the top amateur radio operations by the National Weather Service's Louisville office. Humbert says the biggest problem is appealing to the next generation.
What we're running into is we're not getting any young blood, and we'd love to get some new people that are interested in amateur radio to get their license, their technician's license, or if they want to go higher, even higher, and come in and get on board here at the Emergency Management Agency and learn about weather spotting and help us out on different areas of the county.
Now, the current group of weather spotters have been working for Du Bois County EMA for many years, including Linus Mann. Mann, who started using amateur radio in 1991, says he became interested after dealing with severe weather-related issues at his job.
The thing that got me involved in amateur radio was shortly after the Petersburg tornado. I worked for the phone company at that time, and I realized that when the phone company was without a service, when the cables went down, the tornado went through and tore things up, you had to have something to back you up, and that's why I got into amateur radio, as a backup.
Mann says the fun of amateur radio, along with learning new things, is the biggest thing that has kept him involved through the years. Mann echoed the need for younger people to get involved locally, and he says amateur radio is just the type of thing that younger people should be interested in.
They're playing with the computers, they know how to put the new stuff together, and they're looking at, hey, let's try this and let's try that. That's what we're looking for. That's what amateur radio is. It's an experimental thing. You experiment.
Mann says getting an amateur radio operator's license is as simple as passing a test. That test is given by the Federal Communications Commission. Now, the Emergency Management Agency will be hosting a field day for amateur radio operators and those who may be interested in learning more. The agency says that event will be held coming up in late June. A complaint has been filed against an attorney who led the prosecution against a former Indiana State Trooper acquitted of killing his wife and 2 children. The Indiana Supreme Court Disciplinary Commission accuses Floyd County Prosecutor Keith Henderson of professional misconduct. The commission says he violated rules by attempting to secure a book deal about the David Cam triple murder case while it was still in the appeals process. It says Henderson also used taxpayer money to pay for his defense in an ethics investigation. The commission has asked the Indiana Supreme Court to discipline Henderson and order him to pay restoration and other costs. The matter is now set to head for trial, where a prosecutor for the commission and Henderson's lawyer will argue the issue in front of a judge. And finally tonight, Indiana State Schools Superintendent Glenda Raths has proposed diverting state funds from charter schools and changes to student testing to cut costs. Raths told the Senate Appropriations Committee yesterday that nearly $60 million in the proposed House budget could be diverted toward additional funding for local school districts. Her proposals included eliminating $40 million that's been proposed in additional grants for charter schools. Raths says she would also like to eliminate the iRead test at the 3rd grade level and the 11th grade college and career readiness test. Her total testing plan could be delivered for about $75 million over 2 years, originally half of what was estimated in December. Legislators are currently considering a proposal that would replace the I-STEP test with a national exam. All right, coming up after the break, sunshine and warm temperatures are in store this weekend, and later, Mark Messmer brings us this week's legislative update. We're back after this.